Hey everyone, Jack here, and today I am back out at the Fedora website because I would like to take another look at a Fedora Spin. The last video I did, we covered the Fedora Spin KDE, and I was so impressed with that I just had to come back and take a look at another, because the last time I was in the Spins page, as I was scrolling down through, there was another one that really caught my eye, and this one is the Mate-Compiz Spin. I'm really kind of excited about looking at this. I'm out at getfedora.org right now on the main web page, and to get to the spins you just got to scroll down towards the bottom of the page, which is right here, and just click on the little spins link there, and here we're on our spins page. So there's the KDE Plasma desktop where we were last time. I gotta tell you, the last time I was a bit alarmed with the whole updater thing, and I got fantastic comments from people regarding my video in response to my reaction also to the updater that would kind of happen during reboot, which kind of reminded me of a Windows updater and kind of had me a little alarmed. And so got some great comments from Hikari Plays. You know, my initial alarm, so to speak, at the Windows type look that it had was not actually as it seemed. And Hikari, I think, also had a great point that it kind of very much resembles the macOS, iOS type updates. So I've gone ahead and let those updates run a few times. Had it on my test machine for a few about 4 or 5 days now, and it's been running great. The updates, it's updated 3 or 4 times, and each time they've been flawless, smooth, and quick. So I don't think that's really an issue, probably a non-issue. Maybe a little exaggeration there with the Bill Gates thing in the sigh, but you know, that's kind of how it made me feel at the beginning. And so I'm happy to say I think those feelings are a bit unfounded, and I am no longer alarmed by that whole updater thing. So yes, onward and upward. I'm going to just scroll down here, and like I said, the last time I was in here and I was just kind of running through these, this one kind of caught my eye, the Mate-Compiz desktop. That's kind of cool. You know, Mate is a really nice lightweight desktop. Compiz, of course, is a really cool like 3D compositing software that gives you a lot of cool effects, kind of like what you would see in KDE Plasma, where you have like Windows previews and wobbly windows, and you got all these different kinds of effects. So I'm really kind of curious about this, and I'm just going to jump in here unscripted, cold turkey, and I don't know what to expect, so that's half the fun, right? And I'm going to go ahead and download this ISO, load it in, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're booted into our desktop here, and this is the live version, of course, of Fedora. Looking good here. We have a top menu up here and then a bottom menu. Looks like we got our show desktop, and then over here our 4 separate desktops here, and then we got an application menu, basic, and then places, and a systems, showing our preferences, control center, and all that other good stuff. And then a few basic apps that people would typically click on right away, like a file browser, the Mate terminal, Firefox, and Thunderbird. So let's go ahead and launch the installer. Gonna hit install the hard drive here. Okay, we're in our Fedora 34 installer now, and by default we're sitting at English and US. So it looks like it went ahead and showed our keyboard too as US. Gonna go ahead and hit continue. And now we get our installation summary. And as you can see, everything that was auto-detected here is not showing red. And then we have red here for everything that still needs attention. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our installation disk. And I have a 41 gig drive on this VM. So I'm gonna go ahead and select that. And we're just going to go with automatic. If I was going to do a custom install on here, then I would just hit custom here, and then I could select my partitions individually if I did something like pre-partition it beforehand with gparted or something. But we'll stick with automatic. That's just the easiest way to go for sure. I'm going to hit done. And that takes us back here and automatic partitioning is selected, so that's going to just take care of all the hard stuff for us. And that's really the way to go, unless of course you have maybe a separate home partition and you don't want your data to get trashed. Okay, so now let's create a user. So I'm just going to use my usual YouTube sample name, Toadwick, and let's make Toadwick an administrator. And we'll require a password, but it is kind of nice that it's optional, that you can uncheck that if you want to have some kind of guest, or you just don't want a password. So I'm going to put in my usual pretend password and then hit done up here in the upper left, and then that should do the trick. Typically, on most installs, having the root account disabled is not such a bad idea. If you want the root account enabled, then just go ahead up here and just stick in a password. You can use the same password if you want, and then you have two options here: lock root account or allow SSH login with password. I'm just going to go ahead and leave them both unchecked, although locking the root account probably isn't all that dumb either. That's all there is to it. All we got to do now is just begin installation. It'll start doing its magic and probably won't take too long, so I think I'll just pause the video here and let it do its thing. When it's finished, I'll be right back. Alright, it looks like it finished, so I'm going to go ahead and hit finish installation, and then I'm going to reboot, and I'll be right back. Alright, and we're rebooting, and so far so good. We got our Fedora boot splash screen there, and we should be hitting the login any second. And there's our initial setup screen, and it's going to just jump right past that and should go right to our login. And here we go. Alright, so we have Toadwick there off into the side, so I'm going to go ahead and hit login, and here comes our desktop. Nice. Alright, so looks like we had an official install. And we can see our icons up here on the desktop, and there's our Fedora virtual CD right there showing mounted, so that's kind of cool looking. And then up here we got our updater, and then our network stuff, and it looks like a calendar and some kind of alert there. SC Linux had detected a problem in the Xorg integrity. I would say that's probably just something related to the VM and the video settings. I would say no big deal. And it looks like we got 231 updates available from DNF Gregora. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that and see what's in there. Let's do the updates. So I'm going to go ahead, right click, and then select update. And I'm just going to pull that off to the side there. Make it smaller, I mean. There we go. And so we'll let that updater run while we explore around. And while that's running, what's over here? So up here we have our file manager. So let's bring that up. And it looks like by default we got like some kind of Adwaita type icons there. Kind of, yeah, to me, generic looking, sorta, but that can be easily rectified. And then here we have our Mate terminal, and since we got the Mate terminal open, why don't I just close the file manager real quick. The file manager is Kaja, I think, right? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and close that, and that's a pretty decent file manager actually. And I'm going to do an install of htop. Just kind of curious about what our resources are here. So I'm going to do a sudo dnf install, or in for short, htop. Then we'll put in our password. And we'll say yes. And it looks like our DNF Dragora came up here, and that takes a little while usually when you first open up DNF Dragora, because it goes out and fetches a bunch of stuff, and also this is the first time. And here's all our different things that need to be updated. Wow. And Pipewire, very cool. Nice to see that in there. And a bunch of our Xorg stuff. I'm going to go ahead and hit select all. Hit apply. And we'll just kind of let that do its thing in the background here. So I'll hit OK. Put in my password. And it's off. Nice. That probably won't take too long. And we have htop in here now. So let's take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and run it. Wow, only 920 megs, and that's with DNF Dragora running here in the background. So that's not too bad. I would assume that probably without the software management and stuff running in the background, you're probably somewhere around 750 megs, I would say, roughly. Very nice. I'm going to go ahead and stop that for now, and we'll check that out again when we run some of these options. Like, for example, I'm going to go in here and open up our control center. Let's see what's in here. All right. So you see our control center, and it looks like our software update is pretty much finishing up too. Applying changes to the system. And I see we got Thunderbird installed here by default. That's pretty cool. So they got you set up with an email client right off the bat. And in our control center, looks like we got quite a few things here to choose from. Mate user manager, login window, language, displays, keyboard, power management. Wow. And then we get down here to the look and feel. And here's where we can kind of tweak our appearance and all this other stuff. And then we got our CompizConfig Settings manager. And it looks like a simple config manager too. And there's an Emerald theme manager. Sweet. Emerald, if I remember right, gives you a cool looking decorations up here on your windows. So definitely ought to explore that too. To do that, first of all, I believe we got to turn on our Compiz. So I'm going to open this simple Compiz Settings Manager here. And we'll just ignore that. Doesn't look like it's related to anything serious. Simple CCSM. Okay. A little misbehavior. That could be partially because I'm running these updates and doing this at the same time. Let's go ahead and hit Enable Desktop Effects. There we go. So that's enabled. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and then let's go into our CompizConfig Settings. And let's turn something on. Let's see. Some things I like right off the default. Wobbly windows, of course. Always like wobbly. Nice. And then if we go down to, let's see, I guess it would be like utility. We want to turn on our mouse position polling. So that way I can use this effect here. Or not effect, but where is that? It's probably under extras. Here it is. Window previews. I like window previews too. That's the things like what you have, the effect you have like in Windows and KDE, so forth, where you come down here on your control panel and you can see the preview of whatever app is open at the moment. And so, yes, window previews. That always kind of makes things a little more enhanced. So now we got all this bling going on, and at the same time we're in a fairly lightweight desktop. So why don't we just close all this stuff real quick? But the updater is still going. Let's compare our htop anyway, because the updater was going before. So now we're at 982 megs. So really, that didn't make hardly any difference at all as far as adding all this extra bling. That's really nice. I'm impressed. Okay, very cool. I'm going to go ahead and open up the control center again, and let's take a look at our Emerald themes. Okay, and there's our Emerald themer. Nice. And if we click on it, it's not doing anything. Well, we got our Compiz enabled. If I remember right, you got to go up to, let's see, you got to add in Fusion icon, I think, and let's see if that's installed in here. So oh, there it is right there, Compiz Fusion icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. All right, that's better. And why don't I just close that themer? And I think this is it here. Let me just right click on that. Yep, this is the guy we're looking for. So now we're going to scroll down, and I think it's under Window Decorator. And so we're going to select Emerald for our decorator. Wow, and as you can see, the decoration on the window already changed. Now let's open up our Emerald Theme Manager, and I think I'm going to open it from within here instead of the control panel. I just feel like it might work better. Okay, nice. So now it looks like we're getting somewhere. Let's select something now and see what happens, like this ambience, I think it is. Yeah, there we go, beautiful. So now our themes is changing. So the Emerald themer is definitely working. So there's a lot of different themes. Some of them kind of ancient looking, and then other themes looking semi-cool. And we got crystal. So yeah, that's really cool to have this Emerald themer in here to add a little extra bling and make it a little more interesting. Get some unique looks here. Moo, that looks kind of cool. That's kind of a Mac OS kind of thingish there. Got a new mix style. Nice. Another new mix. Let me just widen that up. That's kind of new mix tango-ish. Very good. Ocean. Wow, that's kind of fancy. Yeah, so many to choose from. I guess I could go on for days here. Multicolored. A lot of things installed here by default. Yosemite, wow, so yeah, it does have some very Mac type decorations here. That looks like something you'd have in a government office at the People's Republic of China. I guess that satisfied my curiosity with this guy. Maybe I'll just bring it up here and just kind of go with, forgot what we had, maybe ambience. Oh, it also has an ambience Ubuntu type with the little orange thingy there. Cool. All right, so there it is, Emerald, the Emerald themer. That's how that works. So looking good. And now with all this stuff, let's check our software management. It looks like the update's complete, so it's all happy. We'll go ahead and close that. With the updater closed, now we're all the way down to 891. So let me just close the control center. Now with it kind of idling all by itself, with the effects in place, and I guess the Emerald themer, I'm not sure if that's really using any significant resources, but we're around 872. And I would say with all this stuff going from our Compiz, we got our window previews here and our wobbly windows and all that. That is not too shabby. Yeah, that's impressive. So let's see what else we got here. We'll just take a quick tour of the control center. So we got our login window settings here, and just give it a password. And here you can set your background and your GTK theme and all that good stuff. Users, settings, your icon theme, mouse cursor. Looks easy enough to toy with. Your print settings if you have a printer, which we don't have anything hooked up to this guy. Bluetooth displays, where you can set your display, mouse, keyboard shortcut. Let's see what's under mouse settings. So you can set it for right or left-handed. Set your acceleration. So by default it looks like it's just slow and low, which seems to be running just fine. So very good. And keyboard settings here. So again, layouts, keys, accessibility. Great. And then our power management settings here. A lot of times I put those on never because it's kind of annoying when it goes out. Setting your time and date, your sound settings here, which we got pipe wire happening here. Even has input sounds and output in our applications, sound effects. Very good. And then our appearance. So if we want to tweak our appearance a little more, we can do that. So up here we got a light colored menu, and then if we hit one of these, this is a dark theme, so it kind of darkens everything up. So if you want a darker look, then you're all set right there with dark. I'm going to go ahead and stop htop here for a second. Okay, so here's our dark theme. And then here's back to a lighter theme. High contrast. So it's got a few basic themes in here, and nothing overly fancy that I can see, but you can always get more themes online. And so let's just take a look. I'm going to hit this get more themes online and see where it takes us. So it's opening up a browser here, probably in Mate look. Okay, matedesktop.org/themes. And there's a link to Mate look. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And let's see what they got to choose from. So here we got the Breeze Noir Dark, Gently, black blue icons. So a lot of things in here. The old Ubuntu Human theme. Wow, I remember that from way back. That's kind of cool. Big Sur circle icons, Big Sur icon themes, Meriweta. That looks like a, wow, 8.8. It's got pretty good ratings there. I guess we could stick that in there. So if you want to add some custom themes, if you haven't done it before, you're going to go, okay, got it. Then typically what I do is I just go into the files here and then select a theme. Like this Mate. Looks like it's compatible with Mate, so that's cool. So I'm going to just hit download and let it open up in the file manager. And so now we just go into here, and I'm going to press Control H so I can see hidden files. And here you can see we got a folder called .themes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. By the way, you can also go up to your view setting and check the show hidden files in your menu. So that's another way to do it. Now I'm going to just take these Marietta folders, or Meriweta, I guess. Marweta. Yeah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Marweta, I guess. And I'm just going to slide those into here. And then just kind of jump back, because we kind of want to pimp out our look a little bit, make it look a little cooler. KDE story. Sweet. So we got the sweet theme here. Why not? Let's just grab it. Cool. Okay, so we got Sweet Dark, Sweet Mars, Amber Blue, wow, Sweet Original. So let's go with Sweet Original. Open that guy, slide it into our themes folder, and then maybe grab the, how about the Mars? And we'll drag that in. And just because we want a lot of choices, I'm going to also just grab the Sweet Dark here. Looks like that got the most downloads. A lot of the dark looks I don't really like because it just darkens everything. And so, okay, now let's grab some icons. So I'm going to back out and then go into my .icons folder. And by the way, if for some reason those folders don't exist on your machine, you can just simply create the folder and give it that name, .icons and .themes, and you'll be good to go. So now let's go up and try to find some icons. Let's look at the, I think the Sweet theme for this would use, I think it's dolphin icons, maybe? I'm not sure if I'm right about that, but okay, maybe not. Yeah, I thought it required like an icon theme. I thought it was called Dolphin. Maybe Boston? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Ah, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab that. Go under Files. And we'll go ahead and download it. And again, we'll open it. And drag that baby right into our icons folder. And then let's just look for one more. So I'm going to go up in here and put in maybe Beauty Line. And of course, you know, this is something that you can just kind of do all day long and find all kinds of. So really, this Mate is really very customizable. Something that you can easily just look the way you want. So I'm just kind of giving you some quick ideas on how to get your Mate desktop tweaked out to the way you like it. Okay, so there's a couple extra icons. So that should kind of give you a basic idea of how to, you know, just kind of tweak your icons and themes. Now that we added those in there, if we go back into our appearance preferences, and I'll just close out of that, go in our control center and open appearance back up, and now we should be able to see some of our new stuff. There's our Mary Marweda stuff, so I'm going to just click that real quick. And it looks like that requires the Luna theme, Luna icons. I guess we can just add that real quick. So I'll just hit Luna. And by the way, you don't have to use the Luna icons with this. This is just what the theme was intended for, but you can select different icons and be just fine. Just FYI. So, all right. We'll just scroll down here. Wow. Looks like that works for a lot of different OSs. I'm just going to hit download. Open it up. And a lot to choose from there. So jump back into my icons folder and just highlight all these guys and drag them on in. Great. Now if I go off to the side, you can hit install here, but I'm not sure if that would have worked. I think that would have just took me out to the website. By the way, you know, just now if we hit Marweda it changes. Oh, right, got to back out of there. Go back into appearance. And then if you jump off somewhere else, and then go back into Mate, it shouldn't complain. And there we go. All right. So those Luna icons look pretty cool. I like it. Yeah, got a nice light look there. And then here we still have our white backgrounds. I think I'd kind of like these panels dark though. So I'm going to right click on the panel up here and select properties. And here we can adjust our size, our orientation. This is on top. If we wanted it on the bottom instead, we could simply select bottom, and we could actually delete this and put these window items in the middle up here. But, you know, lots of things you can do. Background, I'm going to change that to a solid color, and let's make that darker, like maybe almost black, really dark gray. And that looks better. Well, yeah, not really, because of the fonts. I mean, I could screw around with the fonts too on there, just kind of. So what I want to do, I'm going to keep that like that actually, and then I'm going to go down here and make this a Mate. Let's just go with regular Mate. There we go. Now we got white fonts. That's better. And so now that we got our panels dark, I'm going to go to this bottom one here, go back to properties, and I'm going to make that a little bigger. So I'm going to crank that up to right around 36 maybe. Okay. Yeah, so that looks better there on the bottom. Nice. And if for some reason I wanted this more Mac-like, I could uncheck this expand, and that'll make it shrink, and then it's kind of like smaller. But I like it expanded, so we'll just keep that expanded. And you notice too that only the bottom one grew here when I increase the size, so that's tweaking specifically for the panel that I was hovered over. So now we got a dark panel. Our menu is still bright. I guess I can live with that. I prefer it being dark. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. I'd probably have to find a theme out at Mate Look that would have a dark menu and a light background here, because I kind of like having a light background. Let's just see what Sweet does. Wow, looks kind of cool, even though it's dark in the background, but yeah, I'd like to have that light. Then we got Sweet Mars. And Sweet Mars looks kind of cool. It looks like it added a little bit of gradient here up in that. Now, how do you do the icons, you might be asking, because there's no icon choices up here. Well, what we do is we hit Customize for our theme, and then up here we have an icons choice. So we can go over to here, and then right now we have Boston, but if we wanted it beauty line instead, we can hit that, and voila, our icons have changed, and that looks pretty cool. Wow, you wouldn't know it was Mate right now, probably, just looking at that file manager. So yeah, it's starting to pimp out kind of nice. Excellent. So let's leave it at beauty line for the moment. And yeah, I'm still kind of debating on the whole, how about Sweet Light? Looks like regular Sweet. Oh, that looks interesting. Got a dark menu over here. That menu's still bright. But yeah, let's just kind of go with that for now, so we can move on. And okay, I think I just need to close the file manager and open it back up again. Looks like oh right, because the customized icons I think were only relevant for that theme. So if I want to go back to beauty line, I need to jump back into Customize and hit Close. And there we go. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. So that's appearance. And I'm just going to close the Mozilla. And back in our control center, those were probably really the main things I just wanted to cover. That's the big stuff. Let's look at our main menu settings. Here we can add in our items if we want to put in new items that maybe you don't see listed in there. So that's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, apparently we can't choose those until they're actually being used. I believe those activate automatically when you, for example, if I was going to install a programming app like Visual Studio Code, this guy would probably just automatically check, and then you'd have the programming category show up over here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that works, so we're good there. I was kind of thinking that when we were in here that there might be a setting where I could change the background, but I'm not seeing that, so oh well, no big deal. Here's our screensaver settings. If you want to add in some screensavers, yeah, some kind of cool looking screensavers. Random setting, floating gnome, Mate, pictures folder, which we don't have any pictures in there, and pop art squares. Nice. Cosmos. Cool. So that's probably a slideshow of some cool space stuff. And random and blank. My favorite. Okay, I think that pretty much covers that part of it. So I guess that really all just leaves our applications here. And here we got where I was before, where we showed our Fusion icon. We got our character map, archive manager. So our accessories all pretty standard with Mate, our calculator, and then XF burn, our CD burner, and a screenshot taker, always handy. And then graphics, we got our basic document scanner, image viewer, color selector. So yeah, it's really pretty much wide open for you to install the stuff that you want to install. Very basic, light install here, no bloat that I can see of. FileZilla, that's a plus, having in there. That's an FTP client, along with your internet apps like Firefox. You got a chat and a torrent client. Nice. And under Office, we got LibreOffice installed by default. We have Calc, Impress, Writer, and Mate Dictionary. Wow, always good to know. Then for our sound and video, we got Parole by default, and then our Pulse Audio Volume Control, which is up in the panel there. We got our sound settings and XF burn. All right, and then we got our system tools here. Blivec GUI, which I think is a partitioning tool, similar to probably Gparted. And then our dconf editor, Kaja file manager, disk management. That's cool. Oh, there's Gparted. Ah, I have to be root to do that. Nice. And so we do have Gparted. So apparently there's like, this is kind of an alternative to that. And there's our htop we installed, a viewer for log files, and yeah, great. System monitor if you need to look at what's going on with your resources and all that. And right now, resources are not bad. Not bad at all. So yeah, I think we covered everything. This is not a bad spin at all. This looks like something that's quite usable and looks like a lot of fun too, actually, to play around in this desktop here. And I just love the fact that it's got that perfect balance of being super lightweight but still giving you the nice little compositing effects thanks to Compiz. Looks like Compiz is alive and well, and I love seeing it integrated here with the Mate. That's just a really cool idea. And as you can see, it's really easy to get Mate looking pretty good. very comfortable I am in this. And like I said, if you want to just have one panel, you can just move this to the bottom. And if you wanted to have this window, I forgot what they call that, but if you want to have this up on this panel and have it on the bottom with a single panel, all you got to do is go up here to add to panel, and then here you got all these different things you can choose from. And so that's called a window list, I believe. Yeah, switch between open windows and using buttons. That's what you're seeing down here with with our previews turned on through Compiz. That's called a window list. So if you wanted to, you could simply add it to this one, delete this bar, and then put this on the bottom. And then if you wanted to go a step further and also add in the desktop here, the workspace switcher, you would just simply select that and add it there as well. So let's just add something. Let's take this weather report and let's add that in. Then I'll close it. And looks like I'm in the top panel actually right now. So there's our weather thingy right there, and it's going to find my location. And if I wanted to move that, I really didn't have to jump out of there. I could either hit move here and just slide it to where I want it, like maybe I want it there. So anyway, that kind of covers that. I almost got off on a tangent there, but I just kind of wanted to throw in that, how to manipulate your panels real quick, just in case you weren't familiar with that. And with that, I got to tell you, this Mate Spin with the Compiz is just way cool. And I like the fact that they have Emerald in there too, all set up for you. So it took all the complexity out of using Emerald if you're an Emerald fan. And if you're not, you can either not use it or you might discover that you are. So how cool is that? So if I'm going to rate this, I got to give it a double thumbs up. There's nothing in here that scares me at all. I think this is a really fantastic spin on Fedora. I'm really surprised with it. I know I've run different Fedora spins in the past, and this one I find a little extra impressive. I was kind of thinking it was going to be a little similar to the XFCE, especially in the panel settings, but it wasn't. So that is fantastic. That makes me happy. Almost as happy as I was when I got my jab on Saturday. Yes, I got my second shot, my booster for COVID, and that made me super happy. I couldn't have been more happy to have that. Had a little bit of side effects. I woke up in the middle of the night and got a little chilled, and the next day I was really tired and I had a slight headache all day long and felt a little achy and just cold all day. And then around 5 o'clock in the evening, I got this really cool idea. Hey, why don't you pop an Advil? Yeah, it took me long enough to figure that one out. So I did, and then it just kind of went away, and that was that. Easy peasy. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, I would say take a jab. It's worth it. Then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And with that said, I hope this video was helpful. And if it was, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and hit subscribe. Yeah, I did it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.